Good morning. What a wonderful first 2 hours. I re-scribbled on all of my notes I was going to talk about this morning because I feel like we've already covered a lot of bases. Thank you for inviting us up to share a bit of the work being done by Launch Alaska to connect early stage companies with funding and project partners, and ultimately to be true to our mission of accelerating the resource revolution. And Rachel talked a little bit this morning about we are all here with our own lenses and wearing our own hats, and so this morning my lens is through early stage companies, venture backable, scalable firms. For many years in Alaska, and to some extent the Arctic more broadly, we've had a self-confidence issue because we don't have a long legacy of startup wins. We've not given birth to Microsoft and Amazon or Google of the North. And what's worse, we've had a tendency to view the Arctic's unique qualities as weaknesses: cold, remote, small markets, limited infrastructure, dramatic weather, high energy costs. But of course, unique challenges create unique opportunities, and this is where we feel our strengths lie. Innovation in the Arctic isn't a new conversation, and it's not unique to the work we do at Launch Alaska, as we've seen this morning on the stage. But there is an increasing recognition across the Arctic of our collective ability to leverage these strengths to be globally competitive. This spirit was very much on display this month in Bodø, Norway at the High North Dialogue Entrepreneur Contest. For us, it was a particularly proud moment as one of our portfolio companies, 60 Hertz, won that global competition. And this is a company, 60 Hertz, and I have some slides here. Big green. This is a company, 60 Hertz, who would not have developed anywhere else in the world were it not for the opportunity that Piper, its founder who's here at AES with us today and tomorrow, saw in the small, remote, isolated, and off-grid communities of rural Alaska. 60 Hertz is bringing new technology to off-grid communities and changing the way these isolated power plant operators maintain remote energy assets. This isn't a problem that entrepreneurs in San Francisco, Austin, or New York think about. It's because of Piper's unique perspective and roots in the Arctic that will ultimately lead her to success globally. Launch Alaska is a Navy and Air Force funded startup support program that works with early stage companies like 60 Hertz and some of the other ideas and companies you've heard of this morning, and food, water, energy, and transportation. We bring together stakeholders from industry, venture capital, government, asset holders and utilities, and higher education to connect startups, support them, and fund them. With our vast geography and resource intensity, we, Alaska and the Arctic, are emerging as a world-class launchpad for game-changing innovations. For example, we believe the opportunity to deploy technology in real-world settings, such as with more than 250 independent utilities across the state, will result in safer, market-ready technology that competitors can do elsewhere. Our network of experts with decades of experience with renewable microgrids gives a competitive edge for innovative energy companies trying to reach first revenue and business model validation. And the changing climate, for all of its ills, is opening new opportunities for entrepreneurs in the Arctic. We heard a bit from Senator Murray, but also a nod to Mead Treadwell, who has advocated for building large infrastructure projects such as deepwater ports to get ready for this increasing Arctic shipping traffic. Through our place in the world, our network of global sector-specific technical and corporate partners, we are able to leverage and focus expertise, technical guidance, and capital on our portfolio companies. Another project we're excited about coming out of 2018 comes from an early-stage company called Box Power. Box Power provides solar diesel hybrid energy systems in 20-foot shipping containers as a solution to off-grid and underserved markets worldwide. In 2018, through a pilot contract with NANA, Box Power delivered 3 units to the community of Buckland that, after installation of $5 a watt, is half of what the status quo of building new generation is. This and other partnerships in the region are providing a tough test bed for Box Power, and the learnings from this and their deployments in Puerto Rico post-hurricane is preparing them for scaling to sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and other low-grid infrastructure areas. We believe startups are the key to a needed industrial re-revolution, and we know the challenges are massive, but the solutions we're seeing are more exciting. And much like the startups we work side by side with, Launch Alaska is constantly improving our methods to better serve our partners and our portfolio companies. I'd like to pass the mic to my friend Ben Kelly, a serial entrepreneur, space junkie, AES alum, and advisor to Launch Alaska, who's going to talk about our programs and what's coming up this fall.
Cool. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks. Hey, good morning. Very excited to be here at AES today and meet everybody. The flight down at noon yesterday from Anchorage was like the party bus to the Arctic Encounter Symposium. I see my new friends Dude and Hannah in the back coming down from Kotzebue. Hi. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So what Launch Alaska is an organization I'm starting to do a little more advising work with and having a lot of fun. And it's a bit like a startup itself. As we've gone through the cohorts, we're learning what works and what doesn't. I think we have around 13 portfolio teams right now. But this fall, we're looking to mix the program up a little bit to where we could potentially have that, 4 times that many teams at once. And what that'll let us do is make earlier bets on people that maybe they weren't quite ready for the old model. They weren't far enough along. They hadn't thought things through. But we can bring them in and help them, as well as people that are ready to deploy to their first big customers. And the way we're making that switch is by doing these big meetings every 8 weeks in Anchorage, Alaska, where the teams will come in and they'll meet with a panel of experts, regional stakeholders from around the state, vertical or experts in the technology of that vertical, food, water, energy, transportation, general business experts, as well as funders, most importantly, right? People that can help get the steel in the ground or get the project done. And what we do is we give them concrete objectives to work towards, and then they report on their progress towards those objectives. But the other value is that you're building real long-term relationships over time. Instead of grabbing a coffee, maybe thinking about it and going back to the flurry of life, every 8 weeks you have a check-in to say, did you progress along your objectives? And start to build towards pilot projects with actual companies and big deployments in the state that can then scale around the world. The reason we think this is really cool is because we can bring in so many more teams at once, and we can get a look at things that otherwise would have been outside of our purview. So we're really excited to have the opportunity to address the symposium today because, of course, everybody knows, a kid or possibly even somebody further along that has a wild idea that could change the face of the Arctic. We want to meet those people. But more importantly, we need to build the panel. And so we've got a lot of great people in our network, but if you're a policy holder, if you're a technology expert, if you're a regional stakeholder that wants a voice for how the Arctic is going to change through the new economy that we're trying to help foster, get in touch with us. We're at launchalaska.com/fall-2019 to apply, or info@launchlaska.com to get a hold of us so we can build that panel of experts and really make this cohort kick off. So we have a little booth outside. Come by and say hi, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Have a great conference.